Hey everyone, today we're going to be doing a quick swatch and review video on the e.l.f. Cosmetics Bite Size Mint Melt Eyeshadow Palette in Milk to Be, as well as the Mint Melt No Budge Eyeshadow. What shade is this? It's the shade Mint for You. So if you want to see the swatches and my review on this palette, just keep watching. The palette retails for $4 US and the eyeshadow stick retails for $5 US. e.l.f. is an affordable, cruelty-free makeup brand, so I love when they come out with new stuff because I'm always curious if they're going to take it to the next level. Some e.l.f. stuff is good, some is not, so e.l.f. was, I think, the first brand that I used when I started doing makeup when I was like in 8th grade, so I can remember having one of those really big e.l.f. like 50 color palettes, and that's what I would use. That being said, what drew me to this palette is the color story and the price tag, since it's affordable. So I was like, you know what, I want to try this, see if it's good or not. And I also wanted to compare it to the other mint palette I have, which is ColourPop Mint to Be, I think. It is funny because both of these palettes have the same name. So this is the back of the palette. It says, choose from a mix of shimmers or mattes with these highly pigmented and blendable shadows. Your eyes will look fresh and sweet. Mix and match colors and apply to lid. You then have the ingredients and a barcode, since they do sell these in stores. What I like about this color story is you get 2 mattes and 2 metallics. I like that the one metallic can be used in the inner corner and then this can be a lid shade. As for the shadow stick, they're very budge proof. I put this in my waterline when I did an eye look with the palette and it stayed for a very long time, as well as swatches seem to stay for a long time. It's a really pretty mint color. Typically I don't use shadow sticks, but I decided since I love the shade that I would try it. So this is what the two palettes look like side by side, and honestly they look pretty similar, I'd say. I am going to be swatching them to do comparisons, but I think they'll be very similar. I don't know if they'll be exact dupes, but I do think they'll be very similar. I think I want to compare Play It Cool with this shade, since I think they look pretty dang similar. And then I'm going to put Mint Tea in this shade because, again, they look similar. I think I'm going to do Dementhe and that matte, as well as maybe that light matte. And then I'm going to do the dark shade with the dark shade. I don't think they'll be exact, but they might be a bit close. This is what the two lightest shades look. You have the e.l.f. shade on top and Play It Cool from ColourPop on the bottom. They are very similar, but formula-wise, they're different. The e.l.f. shade is way more metallic. It's more metallic and shimmery. The other shade is less intense. I'd say they're similar enough that if you had one, you don't need the other, but they're pretty. e.l.f. on the top and ColourPop Minty on the bottom. They're similar, but they're not as similar as the other two shades. The ColourPop one is a tad bit darker, and the e.l.f. one is a little bit lighter. I prefer the formula to the ColourPop one, though. I feel like the e.l.f. one is very, very stiff and very hard to pick up. I can't even pick it up with a brush. I have to use my fingers, so it's definitely not my favorite shade. So then we have on top the light matte e.l.f. shadow, and then on the bottom are the two ColourPop ones. Obviously, they're not really similar at all. They're all different tones. I personally do not really like this matte. It's not the best formula-wise, so I would prefer the ColourPop ones. This is what the shimmers look like without flash, by the way. So as you guys can see, the top two are very, very similar. And these are the two dark shades, the e.l.f. shade on the top and the ColourPop shade on the bottom. They're very similar, but they aren't exact dupes. They're similar enough that I feel like you could use them, but the e.l.f. shade's a bit darker in tone. Overall, I honestly would prefer ColourPop Mint to Be, so that is the palette that I would recommend. I just prefer the formula a lot better than the e.l.f. one. In comparing them, they are similar enough that I don't think you need both. I mean, the e.l.f. one is only $4 US, but even so, I definitely prefer the ColourPop one. This palette swatched pretty well. I do think that the shades I had trouble with are the light matte shade. That's very pastel-y because it was just really hard to build up any pigment. And then we have the like darker shimmer. That shade just does not want to pick up no matter what I do. So I'm not sure. That is just not a formula that I like. It's super chunky and not very pigmented. I do think this palette is pretty, and for $4 US, I think it's nice, but again, I would prefer the ColourPop palette just because I think the formula is better, although I do really like the light shimmer shade. That is definitely one of my favorites that I've ever seen for a mint color, so I would keep it just for that, honestly. It's so pretty, and I really like the dark shade as well. The eye look I made sure to use all shades because I wanted to be able to review it fully. It was a super easy eye look. I basically just took the like mint shade, blended it out into like a little like wing almost, and then I cut my crease and I darkened the shade a little bit, and I put the light shimmer on the inner corner, and then I put the other shimmer all over the cut crease, although it was very hard to apply precisely since it is just so not easy to pick up, if that makes sense. Like, this is definitely not my favorite formula from e.l.f. Cosmetics. These two shades just really don't do it for me. I really wish this was creamy and buttery like this shade, but it's not. It's just not really a shade that I'm going to get much use out of because of the formula. As for the shadow pencil, I think it's really nice. I could definitely see myself using it as a base all over the lid and then doing a mint look. I think that would be cool, and I think that's what I'm going to do next. I think it's pretty. I think it's nice. I also think they're really nice in the like lower lash lines, so I think they're very versatile, and you do get a ton of product actually, so you get 1.6 grams. Obviously this is a bite-sized palette, so it is very small. Like, in comparison to my hands, it's very small. You don't get a mirror, you don't really get a ton of packaging, but I think that's fine. Let me see how much product you get in these shadows. Let's see. Can we focus, please? Does it say? I don't know, does it say? Maybe it doesn't say. I don't know, I can't. No, I don't see where it says how much product there is, so I don't know. But the shadow sizes are nice. Like, I definitely don't think I'd ever go through them. I do definitely see myself grabbing this shimmer shade, like, for the inner corner whenever I do mint looks, even with other palettes. I just think that they are so pretty that I just know I'll get lots of use out of it. This palette, though, it's not really a palette that I'm in love with because of the formula of the two shadows. When half the palette isn't great, that's kind of like a no-brainer that it's not really worth it. Although, yes, it is only $4 US, so it's up to you whether or not you would rather get ColourPop or not. I personally would, but that's just me. Let me know down below what your favorite shade is. Of course, mine is that light shimmery green. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe, comment down below any videos you'd like to see me do. Go follow my Instagram and TikTok, make it by TashaXO, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Waffy, you're so cute. You're so cute.
Oh, look cute. And you're just crazy. Yes, you're just crazy.